Hello, I'm Liz Davis and I am a miracle coach. And welcome to episode 3 of my series entitled Raise Your Vibration, Raise Your Game. So just to do a quick recap on the things that I've already mentioned. So I've talked to you in the first episode about how everything is energy. Our bodies are made up of energy at the very base level. Everything in the universe is made up of energy once they really investigate it down to the smallest level. So it's really important to understand that we're energetic beings, and emotion is energy in motion through our bodies. So it's very important for us to understand how we can affect our own reality via understanding these things and understanding that our energy affects what's going on around us. And the energetic ladder, the emotional ladder, can help us to understand that emotions can be seen on a scale of really low, heavy, difficult emotions that feel very heavy in the body, all the way up to the very light, joyful, blissful feelings that we would obviously all like to feel more of. So today's episode, I want to talk to you about the science that shows us that our DNA affects our environment. And not only that, but our emotions affect our DNA. And then our DNA affects our environment. So what that means is that our emotions and the way that we feel actually has an impact on what's going on around us. It actually affects it. So scientific experiments were done in quantum physics when they really investigate things at the very, very smallest level that they can see at this point in time. Science is always developing new ways of understanding things and new techniques to discover things. So it is very exciting at the moment. There's lots of more discoveries coming out which help us to understand things that were previously seen as a bit woo-woo, a bit weird, a bit non-sciencey. However, now science is actually showing us that these things are true and scientifically testable. So what was done by a particular scientist, I can't remember their name now, but I will find out and I'll put it in the comments. So in this experiment, photons, which are basically very, very tiny packets of light. Photons are the stuff that everything is made of in the universe, essentially. Everything can be broken down and seen as photons, which are these little light energy particles or clusters of light energy particles. And some photons were put in a vacuum, so nothing else could affect them at all, and they would just seem to be behaving randomly, which is what they would do. They put then DNA into the vacuum with the photons in, and a very surprising thing happened. This wasn't expected. The photons actually lined up in the same way as the DNA, so they sort of lined up like the DNA coil spiral. And they actually were changed, their behaviour and their appearance and their manner were changed by DNA. Now, this wasn't understood previously to be a possibility. It was thought that photons were completely independent of human DNA. So what this experiment discovered and kind of proved really was that our DNA affects the very stuff that the universe is made of. And now, isn't that very exciting to know that our DNA has an impact on things? Now, not only did they find that our DNA affects the photons, which then also will then affect the environment around us and how that presents itself to us, but also our emotions affect our DNA. So when we're in an emotional state of joy and happiness, our DNA, it relaxes. It relaxes so much that it's actually seen to almost start to reproduce because it's so relaxed and it's so happy and it's such a good state. So it will actually start to look like it's going to reproduce itself, which is DNA at its healthiest. Yet when we're in a distressed state, say we're angry, we're upset, and as I said in my previous episode, it's okay to feel those things. I'm not saying you can't feel them. They're important. We need to listen to our emotions. They're there to tell us things most of the time. But if we stay in that state for a long time, any length of time, our DNA will respond and it starts to shrink and tighten and actually get smaller and more tightly wound, tensely wound up. Imagine how you feel when you're feeling stressed and tense. Your DNA responds in the same way. And therefore, the DNA that's then affecting your environment around you, the photons in the energy around you, they will also line up to match what it is that you're feeling and what your DNA is displaying. So therefore, to just put this a bit more briefly, our emotions affect our DNA. That is scientifically shown now to be true. And our DNA affects the very stuff that the universe is made of, and it affects our environment. So if we are in a very tense emotional state, then that is very, very likely to affect our environment, including the people around us. So our photons that we're emitting and our DNA and the way that's behaving will then actually affect how people around us behave. So if we're carrying tension in our bodies, we're more likely to experience people that are triggered into that state around us too, without even realising it. It may be very subconscious. People don't realise what's going on a lot of the time. But our energetic state, our emotional state, has significant power to affect everything around us. So therefore, I'm going to finish today's video by saying, next time you're feeling wound up and stressed, just try something that relaxes you. Try doing something like maybe just go outside and have a brisk walk, or stomp about a bit, or express it, or squeeze a stress ball to let that tension out of your system. Dance around to let that tension out of your body. Basically letting that tension come out is very important, because then your DNA will respond positively, your DNA will relax, and therefore that will then affect your environment and what you see reflected back at you, the way people behave towards you, the circumstances that you attract, the things that happen in your life are directly impacted by you. What you expect, how you feel, what's going on for you. So that's enough for today. I think I've talked for a bit longer than I planned to. It's very difficult to keep these videos very short. But please do get in touch if you've got any questions about this, if you'd like to know more, if you'd like to know how I can help you to release your stuff so that your DNA feels relaxed, and so therefore you actually attract into your life the things that you truly want, not the things that you're accidentally attracting. So have a fantastic week, and look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.